Here in Torrance, California, Mark Roth has won the first match 207 to Jim Pensack's 170. Roth with 6 strikes. Now he goes head-to-head with his roommate from Brooklyn, Joe Berardi, former U.S. and Firestone champion. And Pete Weber, whom you'll see later, won a lot of money last year, Bo.
Chris, a lot of money put out. And as you see some of the other leading money winners, Del Ballard, who won the U.S. Open, McCordick is 300, Holman. Deadeye, our tournament leader, was 5th with 143,000. And here are some of the other top 10. Dave Ferraro was in the finals this week. And Amleto Monicelli, last week's winner. Brian Voss, who will defend his Quaker State champion title next week, was in 6th. So ready for a real good match here, Chris. 2 roommates. Okay, and last year's 300 winner here failed to make the cut, Pete McCordick. And last year's winner of the tournament, Mats Carlson, finished 17th. But here's the man that finished 4th. He has won his first match, 207 to 170, shooting first on the left lane. All-time PBA, career leader in money. Seemed like a very slow shot, leaving the 4-9. The left-hand lane giving the players the most trouble as he has the 4-9 split. And watch what Mark has to do. He has to get the ball over here by the 4-pin, slide that 4-pin across, and knock it into the 9. Not too difficult for a pro of Mark's caliber. I'd say 3-to-1 odds. He'll go for it in the early frames.
Also close. That only counts in horseshoes, and you'll see a world champion in our final game today, Walter Ray Williams. 4 times horseshoe pitching champion.
Roth just slides by Chris here, and it'd be interesting to see if he has a letdown against his good friend and roommate Joe Berardi, who's now up on the approach. First shot.
33-year-old Joe Berardi, 16 years on the tour, 6 championships. Very, very smooth stylist, leaving the 3-6 on the right lane and the furrowed brow.
I think that tells some of the stories. You see the ball go high on the right-hand lane. These players expected both of these lanes to be about the same. The left lane to break maybe a board more than the right today. It's absolutely much different. The right lane's extremely tight. The left lane's hooking.
What speed, Joe Berardi. He's 5'9", weighs 140 pounds, but like spring steel. He unloads at the line when he wants to.
A lot of tendon strength in that wiry body, and he threw that spare shot the fastest I can recall in the Professional Bowlers Tour, 24 miles an hour. Not really necessary to get it done that well, but they're down. So here's Roth, leading by 11, second frame. I'm sorry, Berardi.
There's Joe's first strike on live television on the AC Delco Classic. That brought a smile, didn't it? Took some of those wrinkles out of the forehead. Now, his pal, Mark Roth. 9 through the first, shooting in the second. Again, the speed.
Well, we've seen a shot similar to that before, as Mark Roth left the big 5 the frame before in this lane, and now he cuts right through the middle of the lane. He leaves the 4, 6, 7, and 9. What Roth has to do is get the ball right over here and slide it over.
Stuck at the line, nearly fell over it. Mark Roth. He'll have to regroup now as he'll be moving to the left lane, because it's how often, Bo, have you ever seen Mark Roth with 2 open frames in 2 frames?
Not very often, Chris. The greatest bowler of all time leading money winner, but you never, as an opponent, you can never count yourself in the victory circle when you're bowling Roth. He could just as easily string 10 strikes in a row here and end up with a 257 game. So you keep bowling against yourself and forget about Roth.
There's one. Does a nice little body English hip movement at the line when he knows he's unleashed a good one. Mark Roth. All right.
And the Pro Bowlers Tour, Chris will be going to the Quaker State Open, and Brian Voss will be defending his title down there. We're down seeing Jeannie Halsey and that group down there in Grand Prairie, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. A great tournament.
The house with the chandeliers. for Joe Berardi. A double. Leading now by 33 pins over his pal, Mark Roth.
Berardi, just an ideal delivery. He's a textbook style. Look at the left shoulder in perfect position. The right shoulder driving through the ball. Good knee bend, good follow through. Berardi has a double in the early going, and he leads by 33 pins. Can extend to 43 with a strike here in the fourth frame. This is the kind of lane condition Berardi likes. Tough.
Joe Berardi takes a 43-pin lead over his roommate, Mark Roth, here in our second game.
Austria Olympic hopefuls race in World Cup downhill skiing, plus more of the U.S. Figure Skating Championships on ABC's Wide World of Sports next.
This is the AC Delco Classic, and we're delighted to have Arch Rosell, the general sales manager here, along with his other teammates that you see smiling there. They're a great group, but we do miss Archie Long, executive in charge service parts operation of General Motors. Archie got this all started for us the 7th year. And Archie, wherever you are, we hope you're enjoying the automobile show in Detroit.
And here's Berardi striking the fourth frame. Gets a great break as the 2-pin trips the 4 out. Now watch the 2-pin knock out the 4. He knows it right there. Takes a 43-pin lead. But standing on the approach right now is bowling's greatest figure, Mark Roth, trying to cut into that lead.
Brooklyn. Attaboy, Mark.
As we call it on the tour, an RBF, a reverse blowing 5, Chris. He throws that ball so far to the left that the 3-pin actually takes out the 5-pin as it hooks by the pocket. A great break for Roth. Watch this pin action. The ball hits the 1 and 2 pins. Now watch the 2. It'll deflect off the 4-pin into the 5. Very unusual pin action, but it's kept Roth in the match. He can cut the lead of Berardi's down to 23 with another strike.
But instead leaving the 2-8, the sleeper 8 on the left lane.
Confusion on Roth's face as he says, all right, as he let that ball go, but it slides by the head pin, leaving the 2-8 spare. Roth from the extreme right side will throw a rocket down there trying to make sure to get the 8-pin out, and he'll still be in arrears by 35 pins through 5 frames.
$17-mile-an-hour shot from Mark Roth. But he doesn't do it anymore. Doesn't really crank it up. Well,
Chris, just like great baseball pitchers, they have to learn to change as they lose that velocity on the ball. Roth has done that over the period of years, and as you noted, doesn't throw the big cranker, throws enough power to get the job done. And here's a young guy who has just been as steady as can be in his whole career, won over 600,000, 3 majors, can extend his lead to 45.
Joe Berardi. Joe earlier talked to us about a new incentive for the 1988 season. After you see this.
Watch this spin action. He crosses over. Earl Anthony or Mike McGrath, one of the great lefties, would be proud of this shot, but a right-hander will take it. 3-pin goes to sideboard, kicks out the 6s and 10s, kind of answers Roth's shot of in the 4th frame where he crossed over and got a great break. Now Berardi in command with 45 pins and 4 in a row.
Leaving the 6-10, the boy from Brooklyn. He and his wife, Debbie, are the parents of 2 children, and they're expecting twins. Uh-oh.
Well, he almost had twin pins standing up here, Chris, as he broke down the 4 and 7, left the 6-10. Berardi with that good spare shooting angle maintains a 43-pin lead.
Okay, Joe Berardi, having strung 4